We're expecting the iPhone 17 Air to replace the iPhone 16 Plus this year, and it's supposed to be super slim, which has sparked some doubts regarding battery life. Now, a fresh leak implies such issues might be solved using next-gen silicon battery technology. According to a report from Bloomberg, battery company TDK is ahead of schedule with a big update, where silicon is utilized for the battery anode rather than the typical graphite. This implies 15% more energy may be packed into the same area. Shipping for these batteries will begin by the end of June, which may just allow Apple enough time to include the batteries into its iPhone 17 series, including the iPhone 17 Air, which will have less room for a battery than the other models in the line. Now we're being quite speculative about linking together these specific dots, but we know that TDK supplies both Apple and Samsung. Samsung has, of course, recently introduced its own ultra-slim device in the shape of the Samsung Galaxy S25 Edge. If the most recent rumor is genuine, then the iPhone 17 Air is likely to arrive with a battery capacity of 2,800 milliamps. That's some way shy of the 3,651 milliamps battery you'll find in the current iPhone 16 model, for example. And prior speculations concerning the iPhone 17 Air battery life have contradicted each other. One recent story stated that all-day battery life isn't guaranteed for the new phone and that Apple may provide a battery case attachment for it. However, back in March, a well-placed source claimed that battery life will be equivalent to current iPhone 16 models. Bear in mind that the gadget will still be under testing at this stage, which may explain the contradicting stories. We have previously heard that the iPhone 17 Air could employ next-gen battery tech of some type, and that the impending iOS 19 is also going to give an AI-powered battery optimization tool that should enhance battery life further. Apple's A-series CPUs are among the finest mobile chips today, and each version has given much higher performance than its predecessor. We anticipate that tendency to continue with the A19 Pro chipset, which should appear on iPhone 17 Pro and Pro Max later in the year. While there had been reports that Apple may move to a 2nm technology, which would make the A19 Pro even smaller than the 3nm A18 Pro, that shift presumably won't happen until the debut of the iPhone 18 at the earliest. This implies we'll be seeing 3nm devices until at least 2026, probably longer, depending on how development proceeds. Instead, A19 series chips are now scheduled to be built utilizing an enhanced version of TSMC 3nm technology. This should bring gains to performance and energy efficiency relative to the A18 series, although not to the same degree that adopting a 2nm technology would. However, any gain to energy efficiency could imply an even better battery than we've previously witnessed on the iPhone 16 Pro Max. The greater performance may imply a hotter running processor, but happily it appears Apple's thought of that. A vapor chamber cooling mechanism, which employs liquid within a copper pipe to transport heat away from a device's most vital components, might be included to the iPhone 17 Pro versions, potentially eliminating the issue. Finally, Jeff Pu and Ming-Che Kuo both anticipate that Apple might incorporate 12 gigs of RAM in the iPhone 17 Pro Max. That's a 50% improvement compared to the iPhone 16 series, and would presumably be so that Apple can deliver even more on-device AI in future versions of Apple Intelligence. The iPhone 17 Pro Max allegedly won't have the C1 modem that Apple debuted with the iPhone 16e. Only the iPhone 17 Air is planned to add that component. But the Wi-Fi chip in the iPhone 17 Pro Max apparently will be a new type manufactured by Apple, a first for the iPhone's connection. We haven't heard much about the iPhone 17 Pro Max's battery right now, but if the chip's claimed efficiency enhancements prove to be genuine, then we should see the battery life last much longer. Considering the iPhone 16 Pro Max lasted more than 17 hours in our tests, it would be a rather stunning sight to see. We've also heard reports that Apple might make iPhone 17 batteries simpler to remove, owing to a new form of adhesive. It's probable that this is the same ionic liquid battery adhesive used on iPhone 17, which enables repair personnel to remove the battery with a few volts of electricity. That makes it a lot simpler to remove than prior adhesive strips, which were cumbersome and frequently needed solvents to properly remove. Rumor has claimed that Apple may be creating its own batteries, preparing to launch them on iPhone 17s. While we don't know many information regarding this development, it's reported that Apple plans to give significantly improved performance compared to the existing one. which you'd anticipate since the last thing we want is for battery life to go worse. But that's still a fantastic thing if Apple can pull it off. In addition to new or Apple-made batteries, a rumor indicates that Apple could offer reverse charging to the Pro variants of the iPhone 17. Reverse charging allows your phone charge other devices, mainly headphones like the AirPods 4. The new function would theoretically allow 7.5 charging. However, it's unclear whether Apple will strive to match the currently existent version on Samsung's Galaxy series. It's a reasonable assumption that iOS 19 will debut around the same time as the iPhone 17 launch. This year's software upgrade is rumored to be focused significantly on a new design for iOS, the first big interface revamp in a decade years. We'll discover out more at WWDC 2025. Apple said their developer conference takes out on June 9, which is when we'd be likely to receive an iOS 19 glimpse. We're not anticipating any huge changes with the iPhone 17 Pro Max's display, but that's not to say we may not see some things alter with the following iteration. One report indicates that the phone might arrive with a thinner dynamic island, owing to the presence of new, smaller components. Leaker Digital Chat Station explicitly calls for a smaller dynamic island for the iPhone 17 Pro Max with the assistance of a metal-lens design for Face ID. Price may be a sticky matter for the iPhone 17 Pro Max, with one analyst forecasting that the whole iPhone 17 series might become more costly after the iPhone 16 allegedly dodged a price raise by the skin of its teeth. And that was before the Trump administration suggested tariffs that might increase the iPhone 17 Pro Max cost to $2,300. While other iPhone models haven't experienced any big price rises for years, the Pro Max model has. Apple nixed the 128 gigs iPhone 15 Pro Max, instead settling for 256 gigs of basic storage. While the 256 gigs 15 Pro Max was the same price as the 256 gigabytes iPhone 14 Pro Max, it still meant the price of entry was $100 greater that year, a pattern that Apple repeated with the iPhone 16 Pro Max. We're keeping a watch on how tariffs may affect the iPhone 17 costs, but for now, we wouldn't be shocked if the phone did cost more than the $1,199 iPhone 16 Pro Max price tag. While we don't know precisely when Apple will release the iPhone 17 Pro Max, it normally keeps to the same release timetable annually. Typically, Apple introduces new iPhones around the first or second week of September, with pre-orders commencing later that week. Release day normally follows a week later. After the iPhone 16 Pro debuted a 48 megapixels ultra-wide lens alongside a quicker 48 megapixels primary fusion camera, there's just one lens available to upgrade on the iPhone 17 Pro. And speculations claim the telescopic camera might receive a resolution upgrade, albeit it may come with a catch. Rumors suggest the iPhone 17 Pro will contain a 48 megapixels zoom lens, giving the phone a trio of 48 megapixels rear camera sensors across the board. However, that increase might come at the sacrifice of zoom capabilities, as a rumor suggests the new lens will offer a 3.5x optical zoom. The iPhone 16 Pro provides a 5x zoom. The front camera might be ready for an update, albeit that change will apparently happen for every iPhone 17 model. The true depth camera in this year's iPhones might employ a 24 megapixels sensor instead of the 12 megapixels one Apple's relied on for years. New camera features normally don't leak out until right before a phone's introduction, but I believe the iPhone 17 Pro versions will acquire dual video recording capabilities. That means you'll be able to shoot video from both the front and rear cameras. The capability might be especially handy for FaceTime chats, where you can record yourself with the front camera while utilize a back camera to display what you're looking at to anybody on the other end of the video call. Of course, that smaller profile comes with its own trade-offs, chief of which is the cameras, or lack thereof. Apple's reported to downsize to just a single camera lens instead of the anticipated two in its flagships. The iPhone 17 Air is expected to include merely a 48 megapixels rear lens, no ultra-wide, and definitely no telephoto camera that remains a Pro iPhone exclusive. This narrow frame will purportedly enable a 6.6-inch OLED display, a bit smaller than the iPhone 16 plus 6.7-inch screen. There are also fears that the thinner form might mean the iPhone 17 Air is stuck with the reduced battery size. Even if it shared the iPhone 17 series' more efficient A19 processor, we question whether the iPhone 17 Air would be able to live as long as the Plus model it's intended to replace. So, if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more exciting tech news and updates. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.